Well, what's up, guys? Welcome to this week's video. Superbee is going to, I know it's covered up, but that is the Superbee under there. Actually going to have the bee in the video this week, doing a job that I've been putting off for quite some time now. When I did the motor for this car, it was rebuilt. When I bought the car, the motor had just been gone through. But when I bought the car, I pulled the motor and it sat on an engine stand for probably 5 or 6 years before I was to the motor. I got the body and I was working on that for a lot of time anyway. So what I did was I got the motor, just took it all apart as far as just, I didn't pull the heads or nothing like that, but I just went over and did new gaskets, put a new rear main in it, valve covers, oil pan, intake, you know, all that kind of stuff, because I didn't know how the gaskets had dried up or anything just from it sitting on the stand. So anyway, the car has been, I think September 2020, it was the first fire up of this car. We just basically, I had no brakes on it, nothing. We just parked it at the door, fired it up, let it run. Everything seemed fine. Fast forward to probably February of last year, I actually started driving the car for the first time. Brakes were done, everything. Anyway, after putting some miles on the car, noticed that I had a rear main leak. And I hate oil leaks, especially rear main leaks. So anybody who's ever done a rear main before knows that it's a pain job. It's not fun at all. Modern cars have, most of them, I know the Hemis do at least, have a one-piece rear main seal. You have to pull the transmission back to put those in. These are a two-piece on, this is a 383 big block. So it's a two-piece. Most all the Mopar, old Mopar engines were all two-piece. When I put this rear main in, and these are just about every older car is notorious for rear main leaks. But these are for sure. There's all different types of fixes out there, and the reviews are 50-50. I went with, on this one, I went with the Viton rear main seal, which is supposed to be like the top of the line seal. I don't think this is the fault of the seal. I'm expecting to possibly get in there and maybe see that I maybe put it in backwards and the lip is to the back where the lip should be to the front. That's just something that possibly could be. I don't know. I don't know why it's leaking. I did it on the stand. I took my time, but it leaks. And it don't leak bad, but after long driving, last Sunday went and rode a lot, came back in, it's pretty substantial oil leak. And like I said, I hate them. So we did Termite's rear main, I guess right after we bought it, and it was kind of the same deal. When we got Termite, we were driving home, we stopped at a Chick-fil-A, and I got out, it was like a waterfall. I mean, it was just pouring oil. So every time I'd stop and put fuel in, I was just adding oil to it, just about all the way home. But we did Termites just on the floor, which it's high enough, didn't have to do anything there. This, one of the reasons I've been putting it off, because I was not looking forward to laying under this car. But when I bought this lift, that was the job that I had in mind. When I bought this lift, I was like, I'm gonna do the rear main now on this car. I've been working on the lift all week. I had a leak in, that ram over there was leaking out of the seal, so I had to break it all down. This one's weeping. So once I get done with this job, I had to fix that ram. The seals they were just kind of nasty because this thing had set up for a bit before I got it. So anyway, working on everything around here so that you can work on other stuff. So anyway, we're going to be putting a rear main in the Superbee today. And we are running windage tray in this car because it is HP. We've got these super performance gaskets that everybody says are really, really, really awesome. So I got all of this stuff from Mancini. So plan is, I know this is not Termite, this is not an AMC motor, but the rear main, those are two-piece as well. So this is going to be a very similar process for the most part. I think the Wagoneers are actually easier, and I'll show you why when we get in there. But for the most part, dropping the pan, loosening your mains, getting the seal out, all that kind of stuff is essentially same process. So rear mains are a nasty job. They're not fun, but I don't like oil, especially with this car that is restored top to bottom. I don't like oil just spraying all down the back of it. So anyway, we're gonna get this thing up in the air and start this process that I'm not looking forward to. But I am looking forward to it being done, so I'm hoping this works. Because if this works, I will be super, super pumped, because at this moment, this is really the only thing wrong with the car at this moment. So it's a fresh restoration. We've been working bugs out. I've been working on this car. March was 8 years that I have owned it, and I started restoration as soon as I got it. So I've been restoring this car for 8 years. So this is really the only thing left that is, a bug that's got to be fixed. So we'll get up in the air and we'll get back started. We'll get started on this thing. All right, so you can see what we got here. You can see all the oil on the exhaust. That's slinging out off the pressure plate in there and off the flywheel. It's slinging it through the dust cover. You can see, let's see that light, oil there. It's just, you can see it dripping out of the hole there. But yeah, you can see it's just throwing it all out. Now you always want to look up and make sure that you ain't got valve, that this ain't coming from valve covers or something like that, because that is the culprit a lot of times. Like right now, Termite's rear main I don't believe is leaking at all, but it's valve covers, which I've replaced. But then you've also got possibility of an intake leaking up top. There's all kinds of little sensors and stuff sometimes that could be a problem. Like on these, the oil pressure sensors at the top of the bell housing up top, they're prone to leak, which this one's dry around it. Like I said, I do got some light weeping out of my valve covers, but I've been checking this issue for a long time, and as bad as I've been in denial trying to convince myself it wasn't the rear main, but I really just believe that it is. So anyway, what we've got to do on this, we've got to drop our steering link, and that's really the only thing. And the oil pan obviously is going to come down. We get our dust cover off, our inspection cover, whatever you want to call it. These bolts right here are the hardest because they're right on top of the K-member, but they are reachable with a little ratchet. So we're going to get this dropped and kind of see what we're looking at in there. All right, I want to stop the time lapse to show you how quick it is to make a very serious error in the process of just trying to hurry up and get through this, because I don't want to be doing this. I'm not going to hurry through it, but my mind being consumed with this, trying to film, I'm just thinking, get the oil pan dropped. Guess what I have not done? I have not drained the oil out of this thing yet. I was smooth. I'm 1, 2, 3 bolts away from having the oil pan dropped, and have not drained the oil out of it. That's how stupid it can be sometimes. Like, man, y'all was about to get some really good blooper roll there. But I'm going to drain the oil out of this thing before I go any further, because that was about to get bad real quick. But pay attention, slow down, and that's what I got to do. I got to quit worrying so much about filming and rushing through this, and just settle into it, and let's just get it done. So, yeah, I about did it.
I mean,
it's gonna come out at a angle.
Yeah, I know, but at first, when it first starts dripping, it's gonna.
So you're probably gonna spill a little bit.
Okay.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Woo! Not bad at all.
Oh.
Alright, I got it. You need to go back playing Animal Crossing.
I do. Villager hunting. It's going.
It's gonna drip. I can't do nothing about that. If I would have dropped that pan,
That would have been quite the mess.
I'd have just put a for sale sign on the car sitting right here in the middle of the shop. Oil everywhere and just been like, come get it as is. Ran good when parked.
Yeah. That looks so weird. Whoop.
You would think when you look up in here where the seal is that it would be drips, or it just looks dry right there. Or maybe I'm still in denial. I don't know. I just don't know what else back here could be leaking. What to do? I guess I don't have no choice. Yeah, can y'all tell I'm in denial about pulling this thing? All right, well, I don't know what else it could be. So, well, let's drop her and see what it do. Yep, put the ceiling backwards. That's exactly what I did. I had suspicions. Put the ceiling backwards. Daggone. Well, hey, found a problem. You can be mad if you want to, but I always love when I find a problem. Backwards. All right, I'll see if I can show this in the camera. Where am I at? Okay. Well, let me clean my hands off. Let's see. You see that lip right there? How it sticks down? That's supposed to be over here on the front. So lip to the front. Inside, this lip is up here. So they weren't even close to matching up. So that's what it was. I could honestly, I can still see this thing looks still clean. I almost wonder if I could flip it around and stick it back in there, but I'm not gonna do that. You saw earlier, I'm human, man. You saw earlier I was about to drop the pan without draining oil. When I did that night though, it was sitting over there upside down on an engine stand. I was taking my time, being super careful. These mistakes happen. They just do. You know, that's one of the funny things about YouTube is versus like reality TV shows. This is obviously not staged. And this is just kind of the reality. Everybody makes mistakes, man. You can get in a hurry and make mistakes like I was about to do earlier, or you can even be taking your time. And I'll tell you why I doubted and wondered and suspected that I had put is when I was going through the transmission. I took the transmission apart to go through it and just check everything. And when I was putting my gears and sliders and everything back together, the last one has to face a certain way. It'll go on either way, but if you put it on backwards, the case likes about that much seating. And I fought with that thing and fought with that thing and fought with that thing, could not get it seated. And I swore that I had it the right way. I did not mix it up. I was adamant. I even called Brewers, and he was like, sounds like you got that one. You know, I was like, no, it's not, man. I was super careful. I stacked it all. But I get the I was like, well, maybe. Everybody makes mistakes. Flip it, boom, seated. So that's the moment that I realized, guys, you can be as careful as you want. There's still the possibility of making a mistake. So that's what I did here. Regular black Felpro set. This is what we put in Termite, and it's fine. It's been in there for probably 2 years now, and it doesn't leak any at all. So I think I'm just gonna go with these because I have them. We're gonna get this top half put in. I'm gonna feed it up through. That's not hard. You just feed it through. And we're gonna put a little assembly lube. I got some just Lucas assembly lube. We're gonna feed that up through the top just to kind of lube it up a little bit. And then we'll put the bottom of the cap. These rubber seals are still good. I'm gonna try to just leave those in. I'm not gonna pull those out because those are a pain in the rear to install. So I'm just gonna leave those in, and hopefully it's just gonna slide right back in there like it slid out. So that's what I'm hoping. So these usually install pretty easy. Just feed it up through there. Now a lot of guys offset these, including myself. I have offset them before. But I don't know if I'm gonna offset this one. So what you can do is, your cap is gonna bolt flush, is you can kind of put that in and offset it like that. See how this is lower and this is sticking out? That way when it comes together, your seam line is not matched with this seam line. A lot of guys swear that works, but then you see, rear mains are a black hole of information, by the way. 50% of the guys say they offset it, never leaks. The other 50% say they just do it flat even and it never leaks. Who knows? So I'm probably just gonna leave this one straight and flush because I don't have the ability to really tell and make sure everything is matching. So I think that's an easier way just to make sure it all matches. All right, so our cap is clean. Now we got this Loctite 518, to focus there. This is, and right there it says anaerobic, however you say that. We're gonna use that where the two seal halves meet together. A dab on top of those right there and there when the seal is installed, and a very, very, very thin coat of RTV on top. Do not put a lot on top of there or it won't let it seat correctly, and of course it's gonna leak. So just a very thin smear there along with this on top, and of course make sure there's no oil residue on anything or else none of this stuff will even stick. So we're gonna dab it and then we're gonna slowly slide this back into place. Hopefully it's just gonna go right back in there, and the side seals will be fine. Bolt it all back up. You can see our seal is in there, lip to the front. I got a little oil on the end of this one here. See it shiny? Now this one's not, it won't focus. But I'm gonna clean the ends of those up, probably with just like some brake cleaner on a Q-tip, and just try to dab that oil off so that this stuff will stick good. So that's what I'm gonna be doing right now. It's gonna be hard to film any of that. We're gonna do that and get the cap back in place. All right, so we're just getting back from the parts house. I made an executive decision while I was out there. I've been running Lucas muscle car oil, but price-wise and just looking at it, I want to get this done and oil changed and everything finished. So we're gonna go with the good old Royal Purple. I know a lot of people like this stuff, and I've run this before in the past, and I had a Coronet before with a 440, and I run this for years in it. It was fine. Really, really good oil. So we went and got that. We got our filter. I love Wix filters. That's pretty much the only oil filter that I'll run. So we got the Wix filter, and we've got some Termite to seal up the back part of that cap. The ultra gray is good stuff. All right, well, oil pan's back on. Still gotta do a little cleaning and stuff, but still gotta torque it down. We used the Super Performance gaskets. I have them here as well. You don't use any sealer on them. They're non-stick, so if you ever have to remove, you can remove. So if I do have an issue again, I can drop the oil pan. I won't have to buy gaskets again. The only place that they do recommend you put sealer is on the actual oil pan itself, the gasket to oil pan, and that's because oil pans typically can have a little wave to them. So you do want to make sure they're flat, but then still put some sealer on there just to help fill in those. But other than that, as far as the windage tray and all that, I didn't use any, so we'll see what happens. But it's in there. I did get it in there and had to slide it back down, and because I was in the process of putting it in and realized I didn't put my number 5 cap back on. So I'm just full of surprises today. So anyway, I had to slide it kind of out of the way, put my number 5 back in, tighten it up, and then slid the cap. So hopefully that moving, it felt nice and smooth. The side seals is all I'm really worried about. Hopefully I just kind of come back down and went back in nice and straight. Sounds worse than it was. But hopefully I'm not worried about the actual crank seal itself that we replaced. I'm worried about the side seals. And I'm not really worried about them. I think they'll be fine. But put sealer everywhere that we're supposed to put sealer, as I showed you. And so now we're just gonna wait. Let that RTV have overnight to kind of set everywhere that we put it. And then tomorrow I will torque this down and fill her up with oil, and let's see what it does. All right, guys, well, that's gonna do it for this week's video. I've been driving the Bee for, I guess, a couple of weeks now. Just going on, if it's not raining, kind of taking it out and going a few miles. Last couple of Sundays, we've got in it and just kind of cruised around town, and just rode around some, and seems to be good and dry. So everything's good to go there. So that was a big weight off my shoulders now, because that was bugging me for a long time. So good news is we've got a camping trip planned. Looks like we're finally going to be able to make it. So hopefully next week's video, man, we're going to be in Termite. We're going to be camping for a couple of nights. We're actually planning like a 2-night trip. We really want to get out. So hopefully that's going to work out and everything will line up for us to be able to do that. Remember, we got stickers. If you guys want a Termite off-road sticker, we do have those at termiteoffroad.com. They're $4 a piece, free shipping. But all of that proceed goes to everything we make there goes toward the Hemi for Termite. So thank you guys for watching. Give us a like and a subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you guys next week.